Welcome back, everybody. I'm your host, Bruce.
And I'm your host, Pete. How's everybody doing? How you doing, Bruce?
I'm doing well, my friend. How are you doing?
I'm good. Got to play a little bit yesterday, so that was fun.
Indeed.
The games were pretty epic, so...
Oh, okay. Tell me something. What was the highlight play of Pete last night?
The way the game swung last evening. So there was a game where we had 3 different lead changes. Like one player got eliminated, one player took the lead, the other player took the lead, and then finally the third player left, won the game. So that was kind of cool. Like that back and forth.
That definitely makes for a fun game when everybody's in it and has a shot at winning. It's more fun.
Yeah, and then just the diversity of decks that I saw was nice. So got to keep that up, and I'm excited for Tarkir. I'm sure you are too. I'm super excited for that. So
I am very excited for some of the cards. Some of the cards I think are going to be actually letdowns. That's my own hot take. I know everyone's excited for that like rooftop storm for dragons, and I think people are going to find that vomiting your dragons onto the battlefield is not as much fun as people think.
Sure. I mean, that's why I think people playing zombies as well might get bored with it. I know I did personally. Yeah. And if it becomes a game changer, it becomes a game changer. So we have our own we have our own set of game changer cards.
But Pete, what's a game changer? What are you talking about? What's this game changer?
Yeah. So Wizards, when they took over the whole like grading your deck bracket system, sort of how powerful a deck is, they put out a bunch of cards that they thought were considered game changers when they are cast, when they are played. When you have them in your decks, they make your deck more powerful inherently. I don't know how I necessarily agree with all of what they have said about those cards, and there are cards that I think and you think that are definitely missing on there. However, for the sake of our cute little podcast, we have our own beautiful list of what we like to call game changer cards.
Indeed, yes. There's some really interesting cards that we found that I have to say I have to give Pete a lot of credit here for challenging me to go digging a little deeper, because I had a list of cards that I want to talk about that were like game changers that weren't on the list, but that's some of these other ones that should be on the list. But these are also some pretty, like, looking around, there's lots of really cool things out there that I think really messed the game up, and I think people underappreciated them. So yeah, are we ready to just rip into this?
Yeah, go for it. What do you got for us?
All right, so the first one is a creature. So first one is called Aerial Extortionist, and it's 3 white for a bird soldier. It's got flying and is a 4/3. Here's where things get messy. Whenever this creature enters or deals combat damage to a player, exile up to 1 target non-land permanent. For as long as that card remains exiled, its owner may cast it. Whenever another player casts a spell from anywhere other than their hand, draw a card. Pete, what do you think of this one?
This is Purdue Farms tax collection. This is a chicken that has tax written on it. Yeah. It's a tax write-off. I really like this in any sort of control build, and some aggro decks might like it if they're trying to just get rid of a blocker. It's pretty cheeky, I gotta say. The fact that it does it immediately when it enters too, and then when it attacks you get a little bit more value incrementally. It's going to be annoying for people to have to recast things, and then you get card draw if they do cast them. You're giving them difficult choices, so I really like it.
I think it also really puts a monkey wrench into some of those strategies that are playing the impulse draw effects, where the Jeska's willing and they're going to go and find a bunch of cards, because now it's going to fuel your hand to go and have ability to respond. And if we've seen nothing, if you've been watching, people who are excellent deck builders, one of the most dangerous things you can do is feed the guy with the Mystic Remora or the heuristic study, feed them cards because they're going to find an answer. They're going to find the way to deal with your stuff. And this is no exception. With all the exile effects that draw you cards or exile effects that give you, whatever, access to more resources, this particular card is going to help punish that and help you find your answers.
The other thing is, it just reminded me, my buddy last night played a Rocco deck, and the Rocco deck went crazy. And this card is just like the perfect little end game card. Because every single turn people were playing things from exile from Rocco. So I think Rocco, this card is very much an underrated gem.
That Rocco deck is I have also built a version of that deck. It is very powerful. And if you build it in such a way, they can be swimming in so much value that it's virtually impossible to derail them, short of just firing off the farewell at them. And even then, you may not have an answer. So it is it's big. It's a big effect.
The other thing I was thinking about with the chicken with taxes is you can play politics with your friends a little bit easier too, because you're like, I'm gonna swing at you, but you can exile, I believe, anything. It doesn't have to be from that player as well.
Right.
You can just target anything on the battlefield.
Yeah, you can reset your own stuff, right? Which would be...
Yeah, literally. It says it doesn't matter which player you're hitting. You can exile literally any non-land permanent that you want from anybody. So I really like that. If you have ETB effects or someone's creature got too big and you're like, the whole table's like knows it. Because we had a friend of mine yesterday. He had a massive creature. I think it was like a 25/25 or something. It was just huge. So just resetting it once would have saved a few people.
Mm-hmm.
And it didn't end up working out that way. But it was great. I mean, like I said, this card has a lot of applicability, and it's also an angel.
Yeah, it's an angel. It also plays really well with multiple combat steps in the same go. Could just sort of cause a lot of havoc. So it definitely changes the dynamic of the game significantly, and I think people underappreciate that. It looks like a fairly mundane 4/3 flyer. It's definitely not just a 4/3 flyer. It has a whole lot more applicability.
The only downside, I guess, just to play a little devil's advocate, it doesn't permanently get rid of anything. So you might be delaying a turn or two, but if you can't kill the player that you exiled the thing, potentially they might bite you back harder, especially if they have ETBs that matter a lot, or they get value as well off of playing things not from their hand. So there's some potential that you might get a little too political, and they'll just kick you in the face.
Yeah, so. No, it's a valid concern. Valid concern. All right. What
ready?
Have you got today for creature?
This next card is interesting. It is basically not very subtle in its design space as well, but here we go. Emissary Green. This is from that Ravnica Clue edition, so not many people really probably cared for it, but
I have never seen this card.
Whenever Emissary Green attacks, starting with you, each player votes for profit or security. You create a number of treasure tokens equal to twice the number of profit votes. Put a number of +1/+1 counters on each creature you control equal to the number of security votes.
Screw this card. This thing's awful. This thing ruins the game. Oh my god. This is terrible. It's a great card. Don't be wrong. The effect is hugely powerful. But the moment you said voting, I'm like, no.
Your brain just turned off, right? Your brain just went for a walk.
Okay, this is just going to make every time your turn is just going to extend so far, and it results in so many bad feelings. Okay, so, and I can totally imagine where you play this card. You play this card, don't you?
No.
No? Glunch wants this card. Glunch wants this card so bad.
I don't want to say that bad word here. So
but
here's the rub, right? Here's the upside. The upside is you might get 2 treasures, 3 treasures, maybe 4. Most of the time, that creature will probably die immediately. It's also a 3/3, so it might not even survive combat. You have to be very, I think, smart with how you decide when you're going to attack with it, because it only triggers on it, right?
So put a number of plus symbols encounters on each creature you control equal to the number of security votes. So if you have a board state, you're getting treasures. Like if you have any amount of creatures on the board, your opponents are giving you treasures. If you don't have creatures, something's going to get Voltroned up humongous. So while these sorts of like in the past, choices like this have been extremely punishing to players. And I would use the cycle from whatever Theros block set had there was a mechanic where you had to choose. Your opponent got to choose two options, and they were always rotten. But both of these options are really good. So you want to put your tokens, like your counters, on your board state. If they're not going to give you that, that means you can just fuel yourself to cast more things. And if you know that, you can build your deck in such a way to maximize your treasure tokens. Whether it's you play Xorn or Academy Manufactor, or you're doing, you're have Jaheira that makes mana. You've got there's so many ways to leverage those treasures. Conversely, if they're going to give you counters on your stuff to make a Voltron one creature really, really big, then now you have incentive to play things that are going to allow you to slip things through, like your Whisper Silk Cloaks or your, unblockable, unmessable things. So either option there is going to change the dynamic of your game. This thing is crazy. Like, this is going to mess a game up. Like, I can tell you, that's why I'm like looking at it. Like, the voting on this is super tricky, and there's not a clear and obvious answer. So in the past, when we've had things like the tempting offer cards that have like, do you want to buy in? And the guy casting the spell gets ridiculous value, and everybody else gets a little bit. This is just like, there's no good way to deal with it. It's like, it's not as bad as Expropriate, which is like the absolute.
It's the boogeyman of voting.
Yeah, it's like the boogeyman of voting cards. But this is like pretty oppressive, and so you're going to want to point as much removal at this guy as you can, because you don't want to have to give your opponent either choice. Either option is bad for you, instead of one being less bad than the other. So I think this really changes the equation for any table, and it could swing rapidly as you go around the table and who's doing what and how. So I'm like, this is really like, it's a really powerful card, and I'm looking at this thinking, how is it only 38 cents, and how have I never seen this card? So it's really what I'm kicking myself at this point.
I really like this in something like Wolfgar, which doubles the attack triggers as well. It's like a cheeky way to like get a bunch of ramp and buffs. And then Herald of Secret Streams is like the obvious make your things unblockable. So then on attack, you attack, and then you get a counter, and then because if you vote for the counter option, you get the counters anyway. So I think this is a nice top end card. It's a little bit slow, of course, because you're gonna make it have haste, but
you bet I will.
you might even use this like in a sort of weird token deck, like with Golgari or something, where like rutstein or like Babala Saga, maybe something like that. Maybe you're moving counters around. I don't know.
How does this doesn't do anything for sagas?
No.
Just try to talk, spitball here. Yeah, no, that's a gooder. I have not seen that card, and that's a gooder. I have to say.
Alrighty, so the next card I have is called Death or Glory.
All right, let's check this out. Okay,
we're going to use our imagination for this one. So, Death or Glory, it's 4 colorless and a white. Separate all creature cards in your graveyard into 2 piles. Exile the pile of an opponent's choice and return the other to the battlefield. So, Bruce, what do you think about this card?
Separate all your creatures into 2 face-up piles. Your opponents pick one, it goes away. So this is like playing Fact or Fiction with my graveyard.
Correct.
And they all come back into play.
Only the ones that they don't choose.
Okay, so this
you choose the piles, they choose what goes basically into play.
So this feels less bad than Emissary Green. And I'll tell you why. Because it's in white. If this were a green card or a black card, I'd be like, dude, this is like reanimation deck gone crazy. Now, it's definitely still good. It's a good card. But I feel like it's more difficult to set this up to be really going to demolish the board on a regular basis. This is something that's more akin to being a niche card in a particular strategy that I would not like. Whereas like Emissary Green goes in any green deck and messes up the game, and that Aerial Extortionist goes in any white deck and it messes up the game. This doesn't just go in any deck playing white. This goes in a select deck strategy, like maybe Carador or something like that. Like it goes in something where you're looking to like some sort of mass reanimation idea. And like this is like, and to me, this says at 5 mana, I'm the backup strategy when things have gone sideways, and I need to get everything out of my graveyard. So, I view this as being, it's a really good card. I don't want anyone here to think that I do not like this card. I like this card. I just think it is less of a thing that's going to upset the table. And I'm just thinking of the amount of salt this would produce from people playing the game. I wouldn't be salty if somebody resolved this on my face. I thinking, cool, that's a neat effect. But I'm not salty. Emissary Green, I'm a salty boy because that thing is going to make my night miserable. So anyway, that's what tell me, make me salty with this, Pete. Where's the brine?
It's easy. You're playing a control deck, and all the options are bad. So you make the piles. You get to make the piles. The difference between Fact or Fiction and this card is you get to make the piles. You get to make the choice that they have to choose. So I'm going to do it where it's like I'm going to put all of the bombs that I have out, and I'm going to make it so whatever pile they choose, they're screwed. Or combo-wise, I'm going to take 2 redundant combo pieces on each side and 1 combo enabler on each side, and then...
Yeah, no, I'm totally imagining a world where like you build your piles, you have like Kiki Jiki Felidar Guardian on one side, and you've got some other heinous combo in the other, and it doesn't matter which way they go and get it, it's going to blow you out. And like that's definitely an issue for sure. But I feel like the work to set that up is extensive. Yeah. Maybe I'm imagining. I'm also not convinced that playing this sort of long strategy in a control deck, because like typically control decks would be light on targets in the first place, because you're looking to control and control the board, and you would have to.
Well, here's an example, right? So, like, I have a friend who plays a deck. It's just basically flesh bag tribal, right? You're just playing all the edict creature effects.
Yeah,
he's got like 6 or 8 at least different versions of these types of cards.
Yeah.
If you have to choose between 2 and 2 or 3 and 3, and they all do the same thing, you still get them all back.
Yeah.
You know, something like that, or dragons. Let's just throw out the elephant in the room.
The dragons. The dragons one for sure.
You know what I mean?
Put this in Dragon. But the problem you run into with Dragon is you've got to get the dragons in your yard.
Yeah. So then it's kind of like Threats Undetected. It's like that bad card where you think you're going to combo with it.
Yeah.
And 9 times out of 10 you're going to struggle. But when you do, you really, really pull it off.
It's when it goes off, it's going to be like the thing of Legends. Opponents are going to be like, that was cool. But like that's why I said, like, I'm not mad at this card. Like if I see Emissary Green, I'm mad at that card. I'm salty the rest of the night because that thing is a piece of you know what. But this I'm not salty. If this thing goes off, I'm like, cool. Look what you did. You blew me up with all those things. Cool. And that's and I can definitely to me this is like what I want to do with this, if I want to play this card, I want to turbo my deck into my yard. And I know you can do that, but it's hard to do that in a way that's going to work on a semi-regular basis. So like this ends up being like I said, a backup plan. So it's either like an Abzan deck we're playing self-mill to fill your bin, or you're playing some sort of like self-mill strategy where you have like a I don't know, like
I don't even think
Hermit druid Hermit Druid. I'm sorry, I just did it. It's Hermit Druid.
I don't think you need to think that hard. You could just play Buried Alive, and you could put out like 2 creatures versus 1, and they either give you the 2 or the 1, and maybe like the 1 is like a Archon of Cruelty, and the 2 are like 2 creatures you need to like ramp out or something. So
Well,
like
or two Eldrazi or something messy like that.
Sure.
Yeah, no,
so,
I guess if
there's applicability.
Think it's small. I had to think smaller, like not like.
Yeah, you don't think too hard.
Not. Although Hermit Druid with this would be just delightful. That's okay. So I've now got a new friend for my Hermit Druid. Okay, I like the card. I'm a big fan. I think the card's cool. And that thing is going to do something. When it pops off, and I'm sure you're going to kill me with it. I'm going to enjoy it immensely.
Thank you. All right, the next card. What do you got for us? This is a bit on the edgier side of cardboard.
This is the sort of card that people hate. This is like we want to talk about salty things. This is salty. This is Collision of Realms. 6 and a red for a sorcery. Each player shuffles all creatures they own into their library. Each player who shuffled a non-token creature into their library this way reveals cards at the top of their library until they reveal a creature card. Then puts that card onto the battlefield and the rest of the bottom of their library. All right, so if I understand, I think I want to make sure I understand this correctly because I read this card. I'm like, this is like Scrambleverse, but maybe worse. So each player who shuffled a non-token creature, they just get 1. It's not 1 for each creature. It's 1. So if I have 5 non-token creatures and you cast this card, I get 1 trigger.
That's wrong.
No, so
it's for each creature that you shuffle in.
Each player shuffled a non.
It's each creature, so it's like a polymorph effect.
Oh, okay. This is okay. First off, I'm a token player. I love play tokens. This thing hoses me, and I get so mad by this. This thing ruins my day. Just telling you right now, this ruins my day. But it makes everybody salty too. So, Pete, what are we doing with this? How am I breaking this card to make it ruins the game?
You play like a card that makes like 3 creature tokens, or sorry, you play like maybe 6 creatures max. Sorry.
Yeah.
And then you go get your combo, and there you go. You win the game on the spot.
Yeah.
Very original.
It's like, yeah, I'm gonna be honest. Like this sort of card. I've played into Scrambleverse. I've played into Possibility Storm. I've played into like all those like crazy effects, and they make people go nutty. And this is just as nutty. It's a cool card. This is definitely a game changer because it definitely totally puts the game on its ear. But boy, oh boy, like you're going to make tonight. You woke up and decided to go to the LGS to play, and you chose violence, and your table's going to hate you.
It definitely changes the game to a factor of 10.
It does.
Because you might swing the game to someone else's favor, which I find funny.
And I love the price tag on this. A dime. It's like 10 cents.
It's a dime.
Like, I go to the dime box and I find one of these little boys and I slide it in my deck and I go 10 cents later, everyone's like turns 20 minutes long as they got to resolve this stuff and figure it all out. Oh my goodness.
All right.
So
what do you got next?
What have I got next?
This next one also makes you think too hard.
Oh yes. Okay. So we have got Halls of Mist. This is an old one. I remember this one. I remember seeing it making my life miserable. Then Halls of Mist. It's a land. Cumulative upkeep of 1. So that means at the beginning of each of your upkeeps, you have to pay an additional 1 every turn. So on turn 1, it's 1. On turn 2, you pay 2. On turn 3, it's 3. And keep going up. Creatures that attack during their controller's last turn can't attack. So I remember, can I just like go back in the Wayback Machine? As a kid, I remember playing on my buddy's picnic table in the summertime. No sleeves because we didn't have those. And he had bought a box of Ice Age, which is where this set is from. And I was trying to I'm like, I can't beat you because I can't fight you through the stupid Halls of Mist. And he's like, yeah, you're right. You can't win. And then he killed me with a Polar Kraken. Anyway. Pete, this card is super annoying. Oh my goodness. Okay, tell me if you saw this in a game,
I
what
played
would
this
your
in a game.
reaction be? You played this in a game?
Yeah. Yeah, I
Oh
did.
no,
A
Pete.
while
Did you?
back.
Oh dear. Okay. How tilted did your opponents get?
They just didn't understand what it meant, and I had to remind them every turn cycle, hey, that creature can't attack, this creature can, this one can't. So it was almost like more of a headache for me.
Well, I think that's an easiest way to fix that. You just put a marker on it. You have a dice or something to
Correct.
put on every card.
So
And I think the part that obviously comes from a time when the rules around multiplayer Magic was not well codified, and the way it's templated speaks to that. So because if I were playing you and I were playing in a pod with Nick and George's creatures attack me. The next time George's creatures would untap, they can't attack anybody.
correct.
And that is why this is a really difficult card to work through, and why it turns the game on its ear, because of the fact that now you really have to be careful and prioritize where you're targeting stuff. And pretty quickly with some other stacks pieces, this just results in the board being untenable. So
It's interesting because Glacial Chasm is on the list of game changers, but this card is not. And I guess it's because it's more fair, but I think this is honestly worse because you have to literally think about every single combat. And if you're forcing things to attack with goad, it complicates things as well.
oh my goodness.
It's just a nightmare for
I hadn't thought about
the
it.
casual. It's a nightmare for the casual player. You know what I mean?
That would just be
It's
a nightmare
gross.
to
Gross.
try and to unravel. And what happens to the creatures who are goaded that can't attack? They just don't do anything now, do they? Just sit there.
Well, if they're goaded for a turn, and so like say you go to player one has like 25 creatures, right? Maybe they're a token player, and you goad all their tokens. So then they have to attack with all of them.
Yeah.
Then the next turn, after they attacked, they can't do anything with them.
But okay, so like I'm just thinking, like in the context of Thantis, for instance, Thantis the warweaver compels those creatures to attack. Where do they does this take precedence and layer over top of Thantis to prevent them? I guess it must. They just can't now.
Even if they're forced, yeah, I feel like it would be every other turn would be an attacking turn. If that makes it's like
right.
If say you're playing a card that says like all creatures must attack each combat, then they would attack, and then like the next turn cycle they wouldn't attack. No, nothing would attack, and then the next turn's like every third turn or whatever it'd be.
Oh my gosh!
Attacking. So it's just quite.
That is one heck of a card, my friend. And I have not seen this played frequently. I don't even own a copy of this anymore. When I found this one in Scryfall, I think that's got to mess with stuff, because like you said, like Glacial Chasm is similar in spirit to this, and it's on the game changer list because it just makes the game untenable, and this is not far off.
Yep, and the last card is probably the worst of them all. So this is Portcullis. It's a 4 colorless artifact. Whenever a creature enters, if there are 2 or more other creatures on the battlefield, exile that creature. Return that card to the battlefield under its owner's control when this artifact leaves the battlefield.
Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Yeah, okay. So, this would make me tilt out and probably throw the table. So again, I love to play creature heavy decks, and the fact that I'm not now, what does it say? Whenever the creature enters.
So if there's 2 creatures and you play a third, that one gets exiled until the artifact leaves play.
Yeah. And if you are a token player and you generate tokens, let's say incidentally, they would just disappear into the ether and you never get the tokens in the first place.
Right.
It could be like, I think you could set this up in your deck to set this up to take significant advantage of this. So you play your 2 things, and then you start putting value creatures aside with this. That when they all come back in together, you could get some significant value and almost like a blink effect.
That's what I was thinking. That I would have 2 creatures. Somebody would have 2 creatures out. I'd play a creature. It would just go right under it. It would enter and then it would exile, right?
Yeah.
So it's still ETBs.
Yeah.
And this doesn't matter if who controls the other 2 creatures. Like this could be in the beginning of a game where there's 2 mana dorks out as well.
Oh, I totally misread that because I thought as long as there are just 2 creatures on the board.
Correct.
This is like one of those...
You could do Dryad Arbor and you could do Atlanta War Elf. So then turn 3, 4, whatever, you have this out. And every creature now just gets tucked under for later.
Legitimately, your opponents can't even cast something through having.
Oh, it gets cast and it resolves, but then it just goes right under.
Yes,
after it resolves. Yes. Yeah.
Wow, Pete, that's mean. I have never seen that card.
So then, when you play like Elish Norn or like Panharmonicon or something, it does it twice.
Yes, that's.
Which I don't know how that would work, but that's another. Story.
I don't know either. I don't know. That's wow, Pete. How is that not a game changer? Shouldn't that be on the list somewhere?
I don't know. I don't know how they come up with these things.
All right, let's have a look. How many decks is it in? It's in 2,000 decks. Who plays it? It's in Liberator, Urza's Battleflopter, Karn Legacy Reforged, Karn Silver Golem, Iron Man, Taniwa. That's the phasing one. Oh, that is cute. At the beginning of your upkeep, all lands you control. Oh no, it's your lands phase. That's not good. Grand Augustin. Oh no, Arbiter. Okay, this thing is uncool. Like this.
Shaku. Okay, this is cool. Shaku Endbringer is in there. Which is cool. So that's like a neat way to use the card.
Yes,
I like that. But
there's Raynar the Everwatchful, the Blink Commander. So we were not far off with the blinky stuff. Yeah,
people are just playing all of the hate stuff. I love it. Okay. So, and Bello is playing it. Oh, that's really cute, actually.
Okay, let's see.
Bello with this is cool. Anyway, there's a lot of diversity. I like it. It's not just Flicker.
Ooh, it's in Slicer. Oh, that's going to keep your opponent's blockers out of the way, so you can slice some dice.
Yeah. So we've got that at the bottom of the show notes, and that's all we got for this week. We're going to be bringing some more spice next week and see how much I can aggravate Bruce by playing some of these garbage or great cards.
All right. Thanks very much, everybody. Have yourselves a good week. We'll talk to you soon. All right. Be good, everybody. Later. Cheers.